Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your patience as we allowed for a little extra time for all attendees to join the conference. Now we're going to begin the 2017 Digital Power Corporation Investors Conference Call. Over the next hour, we'll be hearing from Executive Chairman Milton Todd Alt III. Mr. Alt will guide you through a presentation, and then there will be a response period to questions. You can use the Q&A portion at the bottom of your web screen to submit additional questions that will be answered as time permits. Both the presentation and the recorded webinar will be made available for review after the meeting. We're required to read the following safe harbor statement before we begin, which I will do now, and then turn the meeting over to Mr. Alt. This presentation contains forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995, including, but not limited to, statements about Digital Power Corporation's expectations regarding the market demands, future financial performance, the implementation of strategic plans, and future growth. These statements are made based upon current expectations that are subject to known and unknown risks and uncertainties. Digital Power Corporation does not undertake to update forward-looking statements in the presentation to reflect actual results, changes in assumptions, or changes in other factors affecting such forward-looking statement or information. Assumptions and other information that could cause results to differ from those set forth in the forward-looking information can be found in this presentation and in Digital Power Corporation's filings with the Securities Exchange Commission, including its most recent periodic reports, including the risk factors listed in the Form 10-Q and available on our website on the Securities Exchange Commission's website, www.sec.gov. Thank you for your patience as I read that. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Milton Todd Alt III. Mr. Alt, the call is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending the meeting. This was a meeting we wanted to do on December 7th. Unfortunately, due to the fires in Southern California, we were not able to attend the meeting. We were there the day before, and we were able to meet with investors. It was a good conference. The fire was very bad. And so we do apologize that we had to put this off to a later date. It has given us a chance to move our presentation up. The point of the presentation today is we know there's a lot of activity in the company. We recognize that there's a lot of questions. I don't think I've ever in my 28 years had so many questions sent to me. So this is an opportunity to bring things up to date. Everything we present today is as of today, and we will be looking at where we stand as of this moment. We've already read the safe harbor provisions. Thank you, Marcel, for doing that. Let's continue. The company is a company in transition. It's important for everyone to recognize the company began in 1969, has been in business for 48 years, has made power supplies for some of the top companies in the world, the who's who of the Fortune 500. The company, after the dot-com boom of the 90s and early 2000s, declined for a period of years, and a venture fund controlled by my family, my wife, we had an opportunity to buy a large control block of the company from the former chairman, and we did that. We are a company in transition. It's an innovative company that has a new business model to become a diversified holding company. Our growth strategy is to acquire undervalued assets, disruptive technologies, and they need to be impactful. We're incubating some companies, but for the most part, we're working on the existing power structure that we have. The business is very unique. It's been around for a long time. We've got a great set of products. I want to talk to you about the outlook as a shareholder. We're shareholder focused. My family, my wife and I, our venture fund has not sold a single share. We have never sold a share to date. We want to be clear, we have not sold any stock. And in fact, we are contemplating future investments, which is our contractual rights under our agreement with Hulu Ventures when we injected capital to move the company and protect its listing for the New York Stock Exchange. We're in diverse industries: commercial, defense, aerospace, telecom, medical, crypto mining, hospitality, textiles, investment, corporate lending. Through the subsidiaries, we provide innovative technology services, cutting-edge products. Let me address the last press release. We gave guidance for the quarter of 4.2 to 4.9 million. We're sticking with that guidance. We gave guidance for 2018 of 36 to 38 million dollars. We are sticking with that guidance. All of our business lines are strong. Let me address a few things about that guidance. The guidance is the best estimate we have up to date. Clearly, you can see our sales accelerating, and I'm going to try and attempt to talk about each business line, what businesses are contributing to that, address other questions you may have at the end of the call. Okay, so the company is headquartered in Silicon Valley, which is Fremont. I know some people think Fremont is in Silicon Valley, but for argument's sake, we're going to call it Silicon Valley. When we acquired Power Plus Distributors, we have their headquarters in Sonora, California. When we acquired Microphase, we have their headquarters in Shelton, Massachusetts. And then we've had a subsidiary, Gresham Power in Salisbury, the UK, for the past 20 years. They've been there for 60 years. So these are the geographical locations of the company as they operate today. Everybody already knows we're on the New York Stock Exchange American. We talked about the business focus. I think it speaks for itself. We're building off the Power Solutions Group, which we're going to go into next. We'll talk about our strengths in vertical markets next too. Our customers, this is one of the things that we loved about the company. When my wife and I looked at it for our venture fund, the company had a who's who of customers. They still have them to date. These customers represent some of the best companies in America and the best companies around the world, and they do business with Digital Power North America and their subsidiaries today. We're especially proud of the customer base. Amos Khan, the CEO of Digital Power, does an amazing job of keeping these customers happy. And with new resources and new innovation, we're able to give him the resources to expand on this. And so we're very happy with the customer base we have. You can see that there's a large opportunity there for us to sell into this channel in commercial and defense. Next slide. This is the expected structure of the company in 2018. There's many reasons why we set up the structure. The most important which is the following. We wanted to convert to the holding company strategy for numerous reasons. When we looked at the company, we identified that they had a lot of power opportunities, legacy power products that could be used for future growth, but the company wasn't structured to take on any kind of partners. It wasn't structured to be able to be separated. So we've done the following. We're expecting a shareholder vote on the 28th, which will create a holding company structure. We incorporated Coolisys Technologies as a separate company owned by Digital Power. As we said in the beginning of the slide, we expect next year the company to change its name to DPW Holdings and look at the following current structure. Coolisys Technologies, Digital Power North America, Microphase, Gresham, Power Plus to be run by Amos Khan. That'll be our Power Solutions Group. We did that for numerous reasons. One of the main ones is that there's a lot of opportunity in this space. The power supplies are manufactured and sold by Coolisys and its subsidiaries. And we wanted the ability for the company to contemplate all kinds of transactions, including separation, IPO, spinoff, and all the contemplated M&A opportunities that normally arrive themselves from a holding company structure. You can clearly see that we set up the crypto mining division as a separate unit outside of Coolisys. Coolisys Technologies focuses on Hold on a second. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Whoever's on the call, please mute your phone. Coolisys Technologies focus. Hold on one second, please. I apologize. I was getting feedback. Coolisys Technologies is made up of what almost calls the Power Solutions Group, including Microphase. Microphase is a company we bought earlier in the year, and we're going to go into that shortly on this call. Microphase makes high frequency filters for various projects, including the F-35, the F-16, and various other military contracts. Been in business for 60 years. I think it was founded in 1955. We're especially proud of what's going on there, and we'll go into that next. As you can see, Digital Power Lending, which was set up last year in 2016, is a separate subsidiary. We have a couple companies in development, and then we have a large investment in what we call MTIX International, which is presently owns MTIX Limited in Huddersfield, England, which is an advanced textile machine business, and is presently trades under the symbol AVLP, which is on the OTC, which we obviously are actively involved with and hope to seek a bit larger investment. We have a large investment in MTIX now, and I'll talk about how that came about later on in the call. The history of the company, I talked about it earlier in the call, is we incorporated in 1969. We went public on the Amex in 1997. We acquired Gresham in 1998. The company entered into a strategic partnership with Telcor, and that's where the former chairman took control of the company. In 2016, you see there's a long stretch between 2001 and 2016 where the company did not have any kind of substantial growth. They used the technologies developed by Telcor, but the company was under the control of Telcor and really didn't flourish at all, and in fact declined over time. Philu Ventures bought control from the former chairman, and we made changes. We immediately bought in 2017 Microphase, the defense company. We restructured the company into Coolisys Technologies, and we began looking at all the great opportunities the company had in power and the world-class clients they had in 2017, and then we acquired Power Plus Technical Distributors. The portfolio of Coolisys exists as follows: Digital Power, Power Plus, Gresham Power, and Microphase. This is the headquarters of Digital Power in Fremont, California. This kind of speaks for itself. To the right of the slide, you'll see some of the power solutions we have today. We power current servers in data centers around the world. We make power supplies for medical products, for surgery. We make power supplies for all kinds of military applications, tanks, all kinds of different companies that use our power in different solutions around the world. This is really kind of I look at Digital Power as a hidden gem that people weren't really paying much attention to, and was left there for a long time, really not underutilized, and almost did a great job given its limited resources of keeping the company growing, or at least really not growing, but at least keep the company making their customers happy. Growth has only recently happened in the last 2 years. This is something we want to highlight, and that is I have a Wall Street background, been on Wall Street for 28 years. Billy Corbett, who joins us, who's at Digital Power Lending, has been in the business for 30 years. We find ourselves as financial engineers, and we're kind of priding ourselves on this acquisition here. The company had fallen on tough times. Sales were declining, customers were unhappy. We were able to buy this company when it was really, really suffering. We injected capital, sales immediately improved. Brian Kelly and Jim Ashman at the company went out, focused on the customers, getting them happy again, and this business is continuing to thrive. Last quarter, we saw a dramatic improvement. We continue to see dramatic improvement in revenue. As we said in many of our press releases, Microphase is doing incredibly well, and I'll focus you in on the fact that not only is their business improving, the military defense budget under Trump, they're benefiting in a great way, especially with the order we got from the Air Force, which we talked about earlier. And new innovations for next year, you'll see that there's a 5G wireless upgrade. Amos and his team, Brian Kelly, they really think that there's an opportunity in 2018 for growth in the 5G wireless sector. So this business, we own majority control of, 56%. We said on our last conference call, we hope to buy the minority stake of the company. We are presently in negotiations to buy the minority stake of Microphase. We hope, but cannot guarantee, to have that concluded in the first quarter. Next slide. This is Gresham Power. I recently visited Gresham Power in Salisbury, England, and I'm going to start talking about cryptocurrency a little bit. This will give you some guidance as to what our thoughts were. We talked about identifying power solutions and saw demand for power supplies happening, and identified it was coming from cryptocurrency. And one of the things that we really discovered when we looked at the company was an unused footprint. So Gresham Power has been around for 60 years. They make power supplies for the Royal Navy, navies around the world, and submarines. These power supplies are high voltage backup to keep critical ship operations running, especially in need for backup. The business is run by Jake Moore, and he is a veteran there of a long time, been with the company a very long time. Good general manager, reports to Amos directly. And we're really pleased to say to everybody on the call that what we discovered is that high voltage at the facility, a lot of ampage, and about 8,000 square feet of unused facility that we're paying for, that we could utilize mining operations. And relative to the cost of power, we really discovered that this, we had this infrastructure already in place. We're going to come to that, but not only do they make power supplies for some of the world's best ships, but they also have excess capacity, which we'll come into later. We're really proud of this business. It was bought, as we said, back in 1998. The team there is doing much better, and Amos is doing a good job helping them get on track. Power Plus Technical Distributors is a value-add plug-and-play reseller. What they do for their customer base around the country is they take power supplies, they add features to them, and they make them available on a distribution basis. Bill Gordon, who runs this business, been in business for 27 years. We're really proud to add him to the team. We're really proud to add Power Plus to the team. They bring a whole different customer base and a different group of customers and a different group of suppliers to help round out our product line. So this is the kind of acquisition we're proud of, along with what we did with Microphase. This is something almost developed over a year, and we're really excited that Bill Gordon is on the team. As I get to MTIX, International MTIX Limited, as I've said, everyone on the call prior, this is kind of the holy grail for us in terms of our investment. We have made a fairly large investment of over $5 million in this company. And if you look at the filings, you'll see that Digital Power is now a large shareholder of this company. How this came about, we'll get into at another time, but to emphasize to people, we received a $50 million purchase order. I'm going to get back onto a theme here, and that is that there are 4 main power supplies, high voltage, that drive this machine. That drive the excimer laser, the gas plasma laser. And if you see a theme in this, that is Amos and his team produce world-class power products. We had an opportunity to do business with them. One thing led to another. After we received the contract, we decided to make an investment. We really look at this as our unicorn investment. This company has a big, large potential footprint. There's 50,000 textile machines in China. 50,000 textile plants in China. There's another 50,000 around the world. The company is on machine number 3 and number 4, and we think this business could be very lucrative for us. We've said numerous times that we expect the contract to be fulfilled in the coming years ahead. We have delivery of 2 machines in the first quarter of 2018 on track. And it's really an amazing process of reduction of chemical, reduction of wastewater, If you want something to be hydrophilic or waterproof, hydrophilic, hydrophobic, fire retardant, it's truly one of the most amazing technologies I've ever seen. The same people that built this created diamond coating of steel. Multiplex laser surface enhancement, and these machines are truly one of the gems of Digital Power's portfolio. As we talked about last time on the quarterly conference call, we do not consolidate their results into our results. However, we do have a large convertible position, and we do own stock in the open market. So I would encourage everyone to look at our position. I want to go back to what we said earlier about our revenue and guidance. We said in our last quarter we expect comprehensive income. We do have a portfolio of stocks, and we are fortunate enough to know that we do have comprehensive income. It's impossible to tell where certain positions will end at the end of the year, but we do expect, as said in the previous conference call, to expect comprehensive income for the quarter, and that is not in our guidance. This company, Multiplex Laser Surface MLSE, is listed on the OTC, and I know they're working hard to move themselves up the ladder. This is run by Phil Mansour and Previn Mystery. It's a very good company, one that we're really excited with. We were just with them at their plant in Melton, and we've looked at their customer base, their order flow, and we really think this is going to be a large portion of our story going forward for Coolisys Technologies to manufacture machines with Bianco in Italy and around the globe. This is a really unique opportunity for the company. Next slide, please. Digital Power Lending. This is a company we established a year ago. We started this company for a couple reasons, and that is when we came to buy Digital Power, we saw the power supply and the different unique parts of the company. We wanted to leverage an opportunity to our skill set, basically our background on Wall Street, and so we recruited Billy Corbett from Paulson to come run the company as the CEO. We're very, very, very far into the process of the California lender's license. It's clear, it's easy to understand why it's taken a little bit of time, and that is that the fintech business, especially one involved in cryptocurrency, is one we're taking our time with, making sure we're doing it right. The company is part of building a part of a process for what's called curated blockchain. Now, unfortunately, this has become a really common word people are using. This is something we started more than a year ago. And if anyone understands the process of curated blockchain, it's unique lending, transparent lending, and we'll go in more into the curated blockchain as we develop and we get regulatory approvals for it. We can circle back to something that's very logical, and that is if you have the same belief we do, we believe that cryptocurrency mining is tied to power. And that's all that really kind of matters, in the sense that if you have a good server and you have good efficient power supplies, your cost of power is important. And when we generate cryptocurrency, we hope that someone like Billy Corbett will be able to lend it out and invest it and monetize it for us. And so we thought Digital Power Lending was going to be an important part of the company, and we're really proud that Billy's on the team. There's a lot going on there, and I will answer questions about this at the end. I know we've got a lot of questions regarding this topic, and it is a very exciting business, but one that we're doing in a measured way to make sure we're compliant. Super crypto mining. This is something we said in August we would look into very strongly. We have a very good consultant in the space, and he helped us identify why we were getting orders for power supplies, where the market was. We got very comfortable that Amos and his team produced some of the best power supplies in the world. Amos, when we first met him, shared with us one of his newest designs is integrated power supply for data centers. And when we saw it, we understood really where Amos was going with this. What I can say to you about power supplies in general, I'll make a comment at the end about the demand for power supplies, but we're really excited about this business. It was one that was a natural occurrence, because if we believe we're experts in power, it made only logical sense that if we're going to power servers and we have excess capacity at our facilities, and that's something we want to emphasize, and that is all of our military facilities have excess capacity. We had excess capacity at Microphase, we have excess capacity at Gresham Power, Fremont, California, and we really got comfortable with the idea that we could build data farms and server farms there that mine cryptocurrency using our existing power solutions. This is something we really think, we can't predict the future of cryptocurrency. We think it's here to stay. But we did decide to mine the top 10 current cryptocurrencies, and we're very active in this space. This is something we're very, very excited about. Clearly, we bought a dam in upstate New York, a hydroelectric dam. It is getting long electricity, getting long power, and it's something we thought would bring down the cost of power. And we definitely decided to invest heavily in this area. I know this is a hot topic for people. We've been contemplating it for more than a year, hired a consultant in August, and decided to use our resources and our expert ability and power, Amos's team and the team we have at the different divisions to really focus in on this. And this is something we're excited about in 2018. We are actively mining, and we will be providing some sort of guidance around our mining, our total mining and total production of mining in the first quarter. Obviously, we're going to limit our current guidance to where we are right now. Next slide, please. As previously stated on almost every single press release that we're actively in the M&A space. We're seeking to grow organically and through acquisitions. I'm told all the time, people say, well, isn't everybody? But in our case, we're very active in the M&A space. At this time, we're presently in active negotiations to buy businesses in commercial defense, crypto mining, and hospitality. We do all this from an approach of undervalued assets, undervalued resources, and emerging technologies. We'll continue to acquire and be active in this space. This is something that's really, really important to us to drive performance and leverage efficiencies. If you see what Amos has done on the Coolisys side, he's definitely leveraging the team at Microphase and Digital Power North America. He's definitely leveraging the team. And then if you see what we're doing on the cryptocurrency mining side, not only is he leveraging his team, but we're using his excess capacity and resources to mine. And that's something that we've already have embedded costs in the facility. We already have power to the facility, amperage to the facility, fiber to the facility, and it was underutilized and unresourced. And so we're really, really excited about the acquisitions that we have planned, that we're working on, and we will make sure the market knows about them as soon as we're ready to announce them. The roadmap has been fairly simple. The accomplishments, and this is an important part of the whole thing, and that is we like to tell you what we're going to do, and then we like to remind you that we did it and point out that we did it. So we created Digital Power Lending in 2016 after we secured, it was really important that we secured the listing with the New York Stock Exchange American. We acquired Microphase, we created Coolisys Technologies. We began lending to the hospitality business with Digital Power Lending. In 2017, we acquired Plier Plus Distributors. We created Excello. Excello is a technology recruitment and placement service, like a staffing place. Kevin, who runs the firm, is a young guy, came out of another technology placement agency. We needed engineers. We need people in this space. He was getting into that business, and we bought an 80% stake. It's very small. It will not show up on the radar, but we do own it. And then, of course, we established a crypto mining division, and that's what's taking place there. We anticipate acquisitions. We have pending acquisitions, but we talked about leveraging efficiencies in 2018, growing our existing business and generating more income from what we have now. We're very shareholder-centric. So we're focused on the idea that everything we do from a holding company perspective is to how we can reward the shareholders and best take care of our employees. So, there's lots of possibilities in this space, and I think that being financially sophisticated and sophisticated engineers, there's all kinds of opportunities in terms of spinoffs, IPOs, rights offerings, etc. We're looking at all situations in terms of how to maximize the different assets we have, and this is something that we really want to emphasize to the market, that as a holding company, we're going to be focused on growth, and we're going to be focused on opportunities and putting the company in a position to take advantage of capital markets and to reward the shareholders. As I said earlier in the call, we are shareholders. We remain shareholders. Haven't sold a single share and continue to do that. Continue. I do want to open up to questions. We have the list of the URLs of the different companies we are part of or own on our presentation. I do want to comment on the power business. Let me give you an update as to how it goes with the current crypto power supplies. I'll update it by saying the following. The business was already accelerating before we launched our own individual consumer-based power supply. If you know anything about the currency business, crypto mining business, if you look into it, you'll channel check, you'll see that demand is high. It's very hard to get product. It's very hard to keep up with demand. And that entire space is very, very, what's the word? I won't use very again. The entire space is very strong. I did it again. It's a strong space with big demand, and we're very pleased with the demand we see from our power supply business. Obviously, when we started in August of 2000, on August 10th, we did not anticipate the run-up in cryptocurrency prices like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin. However, it happened. It's created a unique situation for us to keep up with demand. And sometime in the next couple of weeks, we will, when the timing's right, we will update the market as to how 2018 looks for delivery of power supplies. But I can say that the industry is very strong, and we're participating in that industry in a big way. We're very pleased with that. Let's open it up to questions. Yeah, please. All right, I'm going to answer some questions that have been sent in by shareholders. Let me address them as they came in. Okay. Are you planning an ICO at some point in time? Wow. Someone asked hard questions, don't they? We're actively looking at the space. Clear as day, digital power lending, and other parts of our business, there are things that make sense. We don't have anything planned at this time that we can announce today, but we are very, very active looking at the space. We want to be very regulatory compliant. This is a very big hot button for regulators. If we were to do something in this space, it would be a security, and we would do it in a way that was compliant with all SEC rules and guidelines. So we are open to all suggestions there. We are actively looking at opportunities to fund the lending business. We have nothing to announce at this time in the ICO space, but we are keeping all of our options open. When do you expect a license approval for DPW lending? We expect that imminently. We were hoping to have that before Christmas. We do not have it yet. We will let you know the moment we have it. We are actively lending under existing guidelines and exemptions, but the license is important to us. What do you see as future contracts with the government? We do have an active contract with the Air Force. We have an active open contract with Rolls-Royce for 20 years. We have active contracts with many governments, including the Israeli government. So I don't have any comment on there. I would have to refer to Amos on that. But I do know that Amos is active in the commercial defense space, and we're seeing strong demand there. So when we have something to announce, we will. How much of your future earnings will be dependent on crypto, and how much do you plan to grow the business in the future? That's a very strong segment for us, and we're not giving guidance at this time, but at its present pace, we're very pleased with it. I can't comment right now. We're not ready to do that. But let's say that if you go back to our plans for crypto, our hope was to have 10,000 miners operational. That's a very big number, and I know that people hear that number and they take a little bit of pause. It's important to remember that we already make power supplies. I want to emphasize this. We already make power supplies for people who make servers. So we have a connection to people that make servers. You could draw your own conclusion as to our access to the server market. If we make the power supplies for them and they rely on us, it makes sense that we would have access to that space. I would like to know the progress on the mills and other fabric mills for clean technology for MTIX. I'll let MTIX give their own guidance. I am on the board of the company. I sit on the board of the company as the largest shareholder with DPW, and I'm comfortable that they are going to fulfill the $50 million purchase order, and I'm comfortable that the company has substantial demand there. I'll let them give guidance themselves. I have another question about the crypto field. Do you want to take any questions from our shareholders? Let me address these. This is something unique. All right, it's from Lisa Thompson. I wish I could actually talk to Lisa. That would be one of my favorite things to do. She's an analyst with Zacks. Where exactly are you mining? Why would you do that in the same place like India where electricity is very cheap? So Lisa, mining is an opportunity because we already have existing space right now, and it's underutilized. You know, when you look at the hydro dam, you know, that hydro dam that we bought has been there for a long time. We're looking at all aspects of getting along power, and so we would consider mining in areas, but right now the low-hanging fruit is the existing locations we have with power, and you know, we already pay for the building, we already pay for the infrastructure, so it made sense that we would mine in our own facilities. Will you offer cloud mining? Pooled mining is something that I have, has been presented to us. We have nothing to announce in pooled mining at this time. Can you elaborate on the 10,000 mining facilities worldwide? Where, when, how many crews, who is at the steer? Sorry, lots of questions. Okay. The 10,000 miners, this is not something you do overnight. It's very difficult to get them. We actually probably install a number, probably 20 miners a day. We're very active in the space. We've spent a large amount of money on miners, and we're in active discussions with different suppliers that we work with on the power supply side. But we're not giving guidance on the number of miners yet, but we will do that in the first quarter. And we do have an active team of 4 people in the mining space working that for us presently. If power crypto mining is the greatest cost of mining, when do you plan to sell excess capacity to other miners? Now, at this time, we plan on only mining for our own account. We really believe in the thesis of getting along electricity and getting along power. We think there's it's a value transfer. We think there's a big value transfer taking place and a stated value in the cryptocurrency market. We don't know who the survivors are going to be. So right now for us, it's just getting along the space and using our power technology, our power supply technology, and our capabilities to get long in that space. I know some people have said to me, don't you think you're late? And I don't think we're late at all. I think this is 1996, 1997. I don't think we're late at all. I think that there'll be a shakeout. You're going to see, real volatility in that space. There's no question that we're a real company. We've been in business for 48 years. We're trying to leverage off an existing infrastructure and add value for our shareholders. So we realize the danger in mining, but we think there's more danger in not mining. So if you look at it from a value proposition and a decision proposition, getting long crypto, getting long mining operations, and using our existing facility, we couldn't get around that. We had no choice. We thought, for our shareholders' sake, that we had to use our existing technology and get long crypto in a way that made sense for our shareholders, using our existing facilities. Explain your efforts to raise cash in this recent filing, going to replace all the other small deals. There's a big misnomer about the $100 million shelf that was filed. That's housekeeping. If you're trying to get as big as we are, going to 38 million next year and beyond, you need to have proper filings in place to be able to do the deals you need to do to go back to what we've said, and that is, if you want to buy companies, you want to be active in M&A, you need to have facilities in place to allow that to happen. And so we've taken the steps to make sure that we're in position to do the right thing for our shareholders and be opportunistic when the time comes. I know that there were a bunch of small deals and there was some confusion there about deals that were done prior, but a lot of that is cleanup, and a lot of that is cleanup in M&A. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of a lot of disclosure that was a little bit messy, but at the end of the day, it was a necessary evil. Will we get an earnings report before March? We will give guidance for 2018 first quarter sometime in February. Yes. What is your share target for the price at the end of the first quarter? I can't give guidance on where the stocks are going to trade. The stock's going to trade, and I have no idea, and there would be no way that I could be responsible in saying what's going to happen there. Do you have any plans to invest in any solar companies or tech? We definitely have plans to look at solar. It's a source of power, and as we said many times, we're really wanting to get long electricity. It's such a logical conclusion that we're a power company that makes power supplies, and that what drives cryptocurrency is the cost of power, and we've been making power supplies for 48 years. I try to emphasize this to everybody because I've gotten a lot of people telling me, you guys have decided to be a cryptocurrency company. We didn't decide that. It came to us because we make power supplies for the very companies making servers and in that space. And so it would be not prudent of us to not look at the market and say, here's an opportunity for our shareholders. And I remind everyone that we started looking at this a year ago and hired a consultant in August. We had no way to know that this was going to turn into kind of a crazy environment. We just saw an opportunity to sell power supplies. Will you be offering dividends in the future? I doubt very seriously dividends make sense right now for a growth company. What we will be doing is we'll be looking at ways to reward shareholders. As I said earlier, we have multiple divisions. I mean, does it make sense to keep hospitality? Does it make sense to spin off hospitality? That's only a $9 to $10 million business for us. What do we plan on doing with that? These are things that we'll contemplate as a board and as a company, but we really want to be shareholder focused. I own the company with you. I'm long the same stock you're long. My wife's long the same stock you're long. Our venture fund is long the same stock you're long. We haven't sold a single share. We have an opportunity to invest more under our contractual rights. We want to be long the company with you. So we're going to do what we think is best for the shareholders, including myself and my family. So we look at it as we're holding your hand and going side by side and trying to grow the company. Let me continue to look at the questions. How do the company's liabilities look? Clearly, obviously, with the run-up in the stock and a lot of things that have happened in financing, our balance sheet is improving. We will give a balance sheet update in the future. Will, are you on the call still?
I am.
Well, keeping in mind what we've told the public, and we've already told them that there were warrants out there, can you make any comments about what you think the balance sheet improvements look like, keeping it on a higher level, not very specific, but just giving some guidance to the shareholders of how the balance sheet's improved?
Well, we've clearly had a significant amount of convertible notes that are no longer outstanding. People have converted those. We've had warrants exercised. We've no longer have any shares of Series C convertible stock outstanding, which was a dividend-paying stock, preferred by 10%. So I would expect a significant improvement in our overall net equity at the end of December. But you know, we still have 10 more days. I don't know if I'd want to give you a firm number on that one yet. But
right, I understand.
But significant.
I understand. Right. Well, as necessary, we'll update the market. But you can contemplate, if you look at our balance sheet, that when do you let me answer another question. When do you expect to start utilizing the dam in New York? We expect to utilize that in the second quarter. We just acquired it, and it's just in contract, and it's something that we're pretty excited about. I know getting long electricity is probably unique for people here, but that was a unique opportunity, and we took advantage of it. See any other questions? Are you concerned about the volatility in cryptocurrency prices affecting you? In the mining business, you will obviously prefer some stability as they're growing. As the prices are continuing and people want to mine more, it's more challenging. They are all over the place. It is something that Will and his team will have to deal with. They'll have to deal with the fact that not only do you get paid in cryptocurrency when you mine, but then you have to deal with the volatility of that. That's a real. I would encourage all of you to look at the mining calculators and figure out what it would be like to have, 1,000 machines, 500 machines, and you can lead yourself to the conclusion that it can get to be a big business very quickly. And with the volatility, is encompassing something. It's not like a normal currency. That volatility could affect you for sure. This question is, if the droughts in California continue, how does it affect the hydro dam you mentioned earlier? That hydro dam was bought in New York, and it's part of a river that's been there for a long time, since the cotton gin, and that water flows. And we've looked at the historic kilowatt hours produced, and we're very comfortable. We're very comfortable that will continue. That river continues to flow, and we just don't see any problem there. Let's continue to the next question. What plans increase growth, and how many employees do you think DPW will have at the end of 2018? That's hard to say. We have several acquisitions we're in different phases of. But my attorneys always basically caution me, so I should continue to remind myself of what they tell me, right? Which is, stick to where you are today. So what I can continue to say to you is, I can't give you an update on future employees until acquisitions are closed. But we're really focused on those acquisitions, and we'll update you on employees when we can. Will people be able to mine DPW coin their home computers similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum? I can't comment on our future ICO at this time. What are your projections for the dam output? The dam is part of FERC, and with FERC, you have to publish your kilowatt hours. So when we are approved by FERC to take possession of the dam, we will turn over our total kilowatt hours that are made and produced. And it's not hard to figure out, based on the kilowatt hours, the number of miners we'll be able to keep at the dam. And that's something we're pretty excited about. Hold on one second. Okay, let's see here. Looking for other questions. This is a new system for us, guys, so we're going to use it. Are you using GPU or ASIC miners or a combination of both? We are using GPU miners. We make power supplies for GPU creator, people who make those machines. And so we have access to GPUs. We're very excited about that part of the business. And we have ASIC miners. We use L3s, D3s, and Antminer S9s. We are, as we've said numerous times, mining all 10 cryptocurrencies. And we are using software that allows us to mine up to 50 different cryptocurrencies. We continue in that space, but we focus on the top 10. Obviously, many have probably seen the reports out there about how difficult the Antminer S9s are to get. We do have them on the ground. We are presently mining, and we have large orders for them, pending and continue to be active in the space of acquiring more S9s. All right, we're going to wrap it up if there's not any other questions. We appreciate everybody being on the call. We really appreciate being shareholders. We know this has been a unique couple of weeks. We hope that this brings you up to date as to where we stand today. We encourage you that if you have any questions to email us your questions. Have a good holiday, everybody, and we appreciate all the support you have. And if you have any questions, please let us know. We like to treat our shareholders as partners, so if you have any concern about our foundation as a company, one of the things that we're really excited about is that we are a company that's been around for a long time, that's invested in the future. So we're using our current platform, which we think is stable, run by Amos Khan, to build on opportunities. I apologize if I didn't answer all your questions. This is unique to us. I've never been on a conference call where there's thousands of people, so we had trouble even turning on the system. But we do appreciate the support, and we'll see you in the new year. Have a good holiday and have a good new year. Take care.